What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. Today's debate episode, we're going to be talking about Kong versus Shin Gamera. So here's the plan, folks. We're going to go over the backstory of these two giant creatures. We're basically going to analyze them. And once we're done with that, we're going to put them up against each other in a death battle. So without further ado, let's begin with the backstory of Shin Gamera. So, Shin Gamera came to be when one day Gamera and Shin Godzilla met and began to fight for dominance on who is the alpha predator, when suddenly, while Shin Godzilla distracted Gamera, one of the humanoids went inside of Gamera and released large amounts of DNA modifiers to mix Gamera's DNA with Shin DNA. Now, the height of Shin Gamera is approximately 125 meters tall. Alright? Now, for abilities, we're going to do a quick skim. We're going to finish off Shin Gamera, and we're going to come back and do a deep analysis of every single ability. So no worries here, just a quick skim for now. So, first one we have is atomic lasers, invisibility, one-headed tragedy, atomic shell laser, carbon dioxide power lift, power crunch head swap, pure titanium shale, opponent recreation ability, and DNA mix ability. Aggression level is high, territorial level is no. Basically what that means is he has 0% of territorial guarding level. Biome is earth and space. Now, let's go back to the abilities and let's do a deep analysis of what each ability even is. So, atomic lasers comes from Shin DNA. It's just the regular atomic laser that Shin Godzilla possesses, now Shin Gamera also possesses. It's the purple laser that comes out of Shin Godzilla's mouth or back or tail. Same thing. Now, invisibility is a evolutionary trait that Shin Gamera has gotten through Shin DNA, because we do know that Shin DNA is one of the most, if not the most, advanced cell structures in any organism. He's actually called the perfect organism in the film Shin Godzilla. So his body and the ability to evolve and take on crazy forms and do crazy things is not outside of reach for this organism. And therefore Shin Gamera is actually able to go invisible, not actually invisible himself, but into the eyes of the opponent. He's able to go through a super cloak and actually just hide himself in the environment incredibly fast. So he can do that for about 3-4 minutes, and then his body has to recharge, his cells have to recharge. So you can do that only about 3 to 4 times in a 24-hour span. We'll just say 3 times in a 24-hour span. Just still incredibly enough. And he can hold that for about 4 or 5 minutes, right? Now, one head tragedy is an interesting one. Shin Gamera has 2 heads. He can actually combine the 2 heads together to become one giant head. And what he can do with this is he can use the atomic laser, basically, so he has 2 heads, right? And 2 heads through atomic laser that are focused. He can combine one head and combine both of those atomic lasers to make an even stronger atomic laser by combining those 2 together. That's basically what it is. So it's basically a power grab, and that's what he can do with the one-head tragedy. Also, he can combine themselves together, make a bigger head, and when he bites his opponents, it will be a stronger force of a bite, which will cause way more damage. Now, atomic shell laser. Now, this is coming again from Shin DNA. If you know how Shin Godzilla himself can actually shoot atomic lasers from the back of his dorsal plates and his tail, here Shin Gamera can actually use the atomic laser from the back of his shell. So that's the same idea there. He took that DNA trait from and he put it into his body. So you can use the atomic lasers from his mouth and from the back of his shell. Every small hole in his shell will be able to shoot an atomic laser. Next we have carbon dioxide power lift. This is interesting. Now, before I do continue with this ability, for anyone who's ever watched a recent debate video about Shin Gamera, it's been about a few months since I haven't put Shin Gamera in a debate video, but I know I have before, And these are the same abilities, but the functionality of the abilities, if you notice, have been altered a little bit. So I just want to give a disclaimer there. Anyways, let's continue. The carbon dioxide power lift. This is interesting. Most creatures will breathe oxygen and discard carbon dioxide. And that's it, right? That's the end of the story for the cycle of oxygen. This creature, having this advanced DNA evolutionary trait and adaptation trait, has learned to use oxygen still. It hasn't learned it. It does that into a form of energy. And that is incredibly powerful. So here's what it is. Every time his opponent, this is based on the opponent, every time his opponent breathes oxygen and gives it carbon dioxide, this creature, known as Shin Gamera, can begin to collect that carbon dioxide in a part in some area of his body. And once enough carbon dioxide has been collected, he can actually use it as a barrier shield, and he shoots that energy to the opponent, and it actually sends them up into the air, right? It pushes them up into the air with that energy, and then the energy just fades away, and they just fall on the ground with a big impact, and it causes a lot of damage. Next we have the Power Crunch Head Swap. Now this one is basically the same ability I talked about, the One Head Tragedy, and I basically talked about it just having a big bite. That's what it is. I just went ahead myself and said it. Power Crunch Head Swap. You can combine the two heads and just do a massive bite on his opponent. So that's what that is. Pure Titanium Shell. His shell is made of titanium, and it's very powerful, very difficult to break, basically impossible to break, as that's what it is. And Opponent Recreation Ability. Yes, this comes from pure Shin DNA again. We notice in the film of Shin Godzilla at the end, he is trying to recreate what he sees, humans. He's trying to make humanoids on the back of his tail. He's making these organisms into his version. Shin Gamera can do the same. It takes about 15 minutes for him to make his opponent in his own version. Incredibly powerful. And finally, with the DNA mixability, he can actually mix his DNA with his opponent and make what Shin Godzilla made. When he made Shin Gamera, he can make Shin, possibly Kong, if it is successful, that is to say. Alright, folks. So that was interesting, very deep, a lot of abilities that Shin Gamera actually does possess. It's a pretty big amount since most of the debate videos. Opponents have about 8 abilities, give or take. This one was a bit hefty, but it's interesting. Shin Gamera is definitely a powerful one out there. Alright folks, let's move on to King Kong, or should I say the king of Skull Island, who's probably gonna lose to Godzilla in the film. I sure hope Godzilla wins Godzilla vs. Kong. Man, I'll be pissed if he doesn't. That'll be pretty stupid. Anyways, let's begin. Let's get off topic and let's see the backstory of Kong. So, Kong, or known as the King of Skull Island, is a giant superspecies of ape that has grown to immense size. From Kong's Skull Island, where Kong was only an infant, he has fully grown, now making himself equal to Godzilla. Having super intelligent abilities and massive strength makes him a super threat to any Titan. Now let's talk about the abilities of Kong. Let's do a quick skim. Unmatched agility, super intelligence, able to jump anywhere, super fast, death punch, and Godzilla dorsal plate axe. Territorial level is maximum, aggression is maximum, biome is Earth, height is approximately 119 meters tall. Alright folks, let's go back to the abilities and let's see what these even are. So the first one we have on the list is unmatched agility, and that's definitely true. Kong in his infant form was insanely agile, insanely quick, and now that he's grown to full size, he's a basically full-grown adult at this point, he has unmatched agility. possibly, I'm here to admit it, he possibly has better, if not possibly, if really, he has better agility than Godzilla. And I'm gonna be honest with you there, I think he's gonna be an upper hand on that one. Oh yeah, that for sure. Next we have super intelligence. He is a primate. He's a giant gorilla. He's very, very smart. We know how smart primates are. So super intelligence, he definitely possesses that. He's probably the smartest titan out there. Second, I would say, is Godzilla, but he's probably the smartest titan out there. Is there gonna be new titans to be introduced? We'll see. But for now, I'm gonna stick with Kong being the smartest titan. Yes, no kaiju is gonna get to his level of IQ. Very smart. He's basically almost close to a human's IQ, right? No, we're like, I'm not saying we're monkeys or anything, but I'm just saying like, it's pretty close. I don't know. They're pretty smart. What can I say? Anyways, able to jump anywhere. Normal gorilla trait. You can jump anywhere, building to building, tree to tree. If the tree can obviously hold him, but depending on how big the freaking tree is, but basically he can jump from building to building in a battle in the city, right? He's super fast. He can run. As I said, his infant form, he was pretty quick. Now I'm assuming he has better muscles, better agility, and all that. He's gonna run, if not 3 to 4 times faster compared to his infant age. He has a death punch. Yes, so Kong actually has giant muscles in his arms, and if he's able to focus his energy and get a good punch in, he actually has the possibility of killing an opponent on one hard, cold uppercut punch. Because he has a very strong hand, and that is the death punch. And finally, he has the Godzilla dorsal plate axe. So he actually has an axe that collects and redistributes Godzilla atomic breath. It's basically mirrors the atomic breath to his opponents, and he can also stab his opponents as well. Now, I'm gonna give you this disclaimer right now. He cannot use the Godzilla dorsal plate axe in a mirror way of, sending the atomic laser back to Shin Gamera, because it's only made, because it's literally a Godzilla dorsal plate from Legendary, so it's not going to work on the laser. It's only going to work on the atomic breath, so it's basically useless. I don't think he can use it, though. He could send it to Shin Gamera and try to stab him, but he can't mirror it off. Anyways, we're done with both of these kaijus. Let's begin with the death battle. We're going to do close range and far range. This is why I do this. Far range limits the abilities that these kaijus can use, and we're trying to see on a limited scale who can still win a battle, even if their abilities are a little bit limited. Very good way of testing them out. The other one is just close range, all out war. Whoever is basically better at fighting wins. So we're going to do far range first. And here's the rules. You have to be 700 meters apart. You cannot come closer than 700 meters. Basically, no physical contact. So, let's see what ability Shin Gamera can or cannot use in terms of far range of 700 meters apart. So, atomic lasers, yes. Invisibility, yes. One-head tragedy, yes. Atomic shell laser, yes. Carbon dioxide power lift, no. Too far to harness that power. Yeah, too far to harness that power. Power crunch head swap, no, because he can't physically bite the opponent too far. Pure titanium shell, sure, defensive wise, it's a defensive ability, so it doesn't matter. Opponent recreation ability, no, too far. DNA mix ability, no, too far. Okay. For Kong, the king of Skull Island, unmatched agility, sure, doesn't depend on how far you are. You have agility, who cares? Super intelligence, sure. Able to jump anywhere, sure, as long as you're not getting close to the opponent. Super fast, sure, you can run around like a crazy ape from Shin Gamera's atomic breath, or atomic laser, I should say, sure. Death punch, no, cannot physically come close to the opponent. And Godzilla dorsal plate axe, I'm gonna say no, and here's why. One, I already explained, the atomic laser is not an atomic breath from Legendary Godzilla. It's not gonna be compatible with the axe to reflect. It's not gonna work. Also, it's not like an axe or like a frisbee axe where he throws and it comes back. Clearly, we saw on the trailers that it was stuck in a building or something, so it doesn't work like that. So basically, if he throws it, it's probably not going to do anything to Shin Gamera from that distance. So we're going to say he's not even going to use it because it's basically useless. So in far range, it pretty sucks to say, Kong actually has no chance in far range. He has nothing to defend himself, really, and nothing to attack. And this rarely happens in my debate videos. Usually there's something going back and forth. But Kong's pretty much a loser here, so I'm gonna have to say, I mean, look, this is what I see happening. I'll give you, not to make it boring or anything, I'll give you the scenario. I see Shin Gamera using the atomic laser and actually going invisible just to troll the guy, going in invisibility mode, and then using the atomic laser, completely ripping up the flesh of Kong. Because remember, Kong as flesh, it's flesh. It's not like reptilian skin like these monsters like Gamera or Godzilla have that's really hard to penetrate. He has skin, it's like fleshly, hairy skin. Yeah, it's probably thick, but still nothing compared to reptilian type skin, like dorsal plates and all this shit that they have. So it's really easy to penetrate his skin. He's gonna use the atomic laser, even the one-head tragedy, and just completely destroy him, including the atomic shell laser. It's gonna basically make a deep-fried Kentucky Fried Monkey. So I'm sorry, Kong fans, but he has no chance in far range. So I'm gonna give it to 1-0 to Shin Gamera. Alright, let's go to close range. This is gonna get more interesting, but way more interesting, or face-to-face, right? So let's take into consideration. Shin Gamera is 125 meters tall. Kong is approximately 119 meters tall. Not a big difference in my opinion, not gonna do much. So what's gonna happen? Now let's remember, face to face, here's what I see. I see Kong being the first one to attack. He's all aggressive and he apparently doesn't bow down to anyone, right? Even though I do think he's gonna bow down to Godzilla at one point. If they don't do that in the film, it's gonna kind of retarded. But we'll see. But even though Kong doesn't bow down to no one, we'll go off of that scenario and we'll say that Kong's gonna be the first one to attack Shin Gamera in this case. And he's gonna get a really good uppercut on Shin Gamera, like crazy death punch. Now, having the Shin DNA and having all that, protection on him, it's not gonna kill him with a death punch, but it's definitely gonna cause a lot of damage and knock the hell out of Shin Gamera, right? And Shin Gamera actually has a really good defensive ability. This is coming from just not Shin DNA, Gamera DNA. He has rockets in his holes, right? This leg holes in the shell. He can fly. He's gonna get that. He's gonna go spin out. In the movies he makes that sound. Yeah. He's gonna go up. He's gonna fly. He's gonna get the hell out of that area, and he's gonna come back right towards Kong with that shell and just ram into the guy and just throw him onto the ground and rip some part of its body too. Because remember, in the film of Kong Skull Island, he was pretty damaged from those propellers of the helicopter. So what's to say a giant flying turtle with Shin DNA is gonna do when he hits him? Physics, right? I think that's physics, but it doesn't matter. He got him, and he's gonna cause a lot of damage there. And then when they get out now face to face, Kong is gonna start running everywhere. Like he's gonna try to kind of get Shin Gamera kind of out of balance and everything. But Shin Gamera has a way to combat that. He could just put his head back into his shell and just start spinning in circles and just use one specific ability, and that is the atomic shell laser. And he's gonna get Kong one way or the other. In one way, he's gonna just basically start spinning in circles, get thousands of lasers from his shell, and just shooting in every direction. And when Kong is running, he's gonna get slapped that atomic laser. He's gonna fall down, and again, the atomic laser is going to finish the job. And I'm gonna say Shin Gamera is going to win 2-0. This is just my opinion. You can debate me in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Again, it's 2-0. Winner is Shin Gamera. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great and wonderful day.